creatives, it's me. I am back for another unexpected live midweek. Even though tomorrow is normally when we go live, I thought I would give you a sneak peek on what I am working on today, which is like walking in a winter wonderland. So I wanted to do a wreath that was a little bit more gray, white, and silver. So that is my color theme for today's design. So I am going to make sure everything is functional. I am keeping my fingers crossed that my solution to the live issue with the buffering and broadcast interruptions will not happen unless you're watching from your wireless device and you might have connectivity issues. If that happens, I would encourage you just to log off and then relaunch the Facebook app and then rejoin us, and hopefully it should clear up. But we shouldn't have any issues on our side. So let me just make sure that I am live on both things so I can see your comments and I can answer your questions. And hoping to give you the results of the poll. And I think it was funny because it all started out equal and now it's kind of leaning more towards one or the other. So hi Anne, hi Gail, hi Mary, hi Ronnie, hi Antoinette. So welcome and for joining me on a Thursday live at 2, which sounds so much different than saying welcome to Friday Night Live at 5. So we're going to be working on our 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. I'm kind of going back because people have asked me, did you kind of give up the whole Dollar Tree thing? The answer is no. I'm just trying to reduce the inventory of work frame wreaths I have in an overly large tub, and so I'm trying to eliminate those so that all I have is this. Plus, it frees up a ton of space for me to put 2 more tubs of inventory that needs to get put up for storage. So I'll have more room for other things. So 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame, all wired with white pipe cleaners. I'm going to walk you through how we go ahead and finish up the last and final section. In a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame, you're going to have 6 sections, 4 rails, and if you wire 2 of them together, you shouldn't have any movement. You might have some minimal movement, but overall it shouldn't flop back and forth. So what you should get in each section is you're going to have the 2 innermost rails wired together. That creates an inner circle for you. And then you're going to put 2 on the 2 outer in each section, which will give you a grand total of 6 on the inside and 12 on the outside. So if you watch me, I have done it 5 times. So we're just going to wire together the 6th and final section. So I'm taking the 2 innermost rings, kind of putting that in between both wells to kind of give myself a little middle space. It makes everything all even. And then we're going to wire the 2 outer using this and this weld mark to help me find center as best as we can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this can be wired up this way for pretty much just about every single wreath technique that I will show you how to make. Today we're using 10-inch Deco mesh, and this is a white with a light silver foil. It's not a heavy foil, which is just enough to kind of create the sparkly illusion without losing the overall effect of the white. So I wanted a very neutral base, and then I wanted to be able to come in and pop in grays, silvers, I'm trying to think, gray, silvers, white in a different sense that it's more kind of like ivory glittery, and hopefully it'll turn out okay. So hi Connie, hi Michelle, hi Jean, hi Susan. You love the tree behind me. I actually show you how to do this in our private group. So this is a new Christmas tree this year that is made on the Unique in the Creek tree frame board with a different folding technique. So I have one done in white and I did one also in green, and both of those are available in my Etsy shop. If you want to learn how to make them, come join my private group and I will teach you everything that there is to know about great designs and hopefully how to get them sold based on a wide variety of different techniques. So hi Carol, hi Tony, hi Wendy. Thanks for joining me, everyone. So the 10-inch Deco mesh is all cut to 20-inch pieces. If you do that with a brand new roll, you can get through the entire roll with no leftovers. It will get you exactly 18 20-inch pieces, and I'm just going to do a basic ruffle. It's the easiest form for people that are doing Deco mesh wreaths for the first time. So we're just going to ruffle all of these and put these in every single one of the 18 pipe cleaners. So I'm just going to give it like a twist and a half, and then the way I put ruffles in is I do the finished edges to the outside and to the inside, and then the cut edges are towards the middle. And the reason for this is when people are touching the wreath, they're going to have a tendency to touch the outside and not so much the inside. So we shouldn't have much fraying. Number one, I cut it with a wood burning tool, so that should reduce the fraying, but you never know. It just depends. Sometimes if you get that one thread and you go to pull it, you create a ton of mess that you have to clean up. So hopefully this will kind of keep things at bay. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish all of these. Hi Julie, you're traveling. Where are you headed to? I'm so envious of people who get to travel, except for Steve, who is making his way home. So he should be home really late tonight. But the good thing is he'll be joining us for our Friday Night Live tomorrow. So we're hoping that he gets enough rest. Hi Judy, hi Dawn. Thanks for joining me, everybody. So I'm just going to move these, because generally what happens is I start to push stuff and things wind up on the floor. They kind of get set up here. So hi Sandy. Oh, from Tom's Farm. That is true. You are south of us. We still need to get together and hang out. So the size mesh, Shanice, is it's 10-inch white with a silver foil through it, cut to 20-inch pieces. And that's a perfect size for covering a frame and completely using an entire roll of Deco mesh, so that you don't have those. I have an entire closet full of half or partial rolls of Deco mesh. It drives me crazy, so I always have to set up a reminder to check the open supply before you grab a new roll. But knowing that I was going to utilize the entire thing, I didn't want to go and grab the third or half of a roll and then break into that to carve into another half a roll of a new material. So it just made sense to grab one, open it, and just be done with it. Saves me from having to go into that closet area. I'm trying to listen on the way to bus driver training. Okay, well if not, Sandy, the replay will be available shortly after we end, so it will be here for you as long as you need. Did I miss the video of that tree hanging on my display door? That's actually a video that we did in my private group. So we learned how to do the Christmas tree on the Unique in the Creek door frame board. So that's just like one of the extra tutorials that is available to private group people. I try to teach you other things. So somebody had suggested, can you teach us how to do the new Christmas tree using the new boards? So yes, we did that. I was like trying to think, did I do green or did I do white? I think I did white, and then I went back and also made a green one, because you just never know. You have people who like white, and then you have people who like green. So did my package arrive yet? No. Unless you're the person who sent me 60 pounds of bird food, which is how I order my bird food. for the birds that I feed during, it's supposed to have been just the winter, but now I feed my birds year round. So Walmart, which is where I normally buy my 40-pound bag of black oil sunflower seed, because they need the space for Christmas, they don't carry the 40-pound bags during the holidays. So my backup plan was order 2 20-pound bags from Amazon for roughly the same price, and I save a trip to the store, and Amazon will deliver it to my front door. So that's my workaround for that, because I never had a problem up until this year. Okay, you'll track it when you get home. I'm thinking if it came USPS, I don't know if we've gotten our mail yet. Our mail doesn't come until like 4 or 4:30. Although sometimes our mail people don't even deliver our mail till like 6:30 at night. So go figure. Who wants to go check your mail out in the dark? Because we have to walk to a community mailbox. We're not one of those. I miss the days where you had mailboxes at your home. Does anyone still have that? Mailboxes that go directly to your house? Or is everyone pretty much community mail? Now it makes it easier for the post office people. I'm trying to keep my pipe cleaners straight up and down so I don't lose them. Deborah says, watching you from the library. My daughter works out near Austin. Came to stay and help watch my grandson. She's having identical twin girls next week. Oh, so you saw the sign. This sign, the Gray Merry Christmas sign, it came from Hobby Lobby. And that was the inspiration for the entire design. When I saw the sign, I automatically thought of the Winter Wonderland song, where treetops glisten. So that was my whole inspiration behind everything that I use in tonight's design. Except I could have grabbed some snow-covered pine branches and I could have incorporated those into this design. So Hobby Lobby, 50% off. Can't remember what I purchased the sign for. I want to say it's going to be somewhere between $9 and like $12, but then you get 50% off, is what I'm thinking. Man, you guys all still get your mail delivered to your front door. That is so nice. I miss those days where they bring it straight up to your house. I don't envy you though, those of you that have really long driveways and you have to go all the way down to the street. Because if you have inclement weather like snow, that can be a challenge to try to get all the way down to the street. So you guys are saying end of your driveway. I have to walk a little bit. Not that far. It's just across the street. But with the time change and everything getting so dark, it's kind of poorly lit right where the mailboxes are. So I don't like to go, sounds so creepy, I don't like to go anywhere outside if I have to walk at night. I don't even like leaving my windows open at night, unless Steve's home, then I will. So Catherine says her mail is delivered to your private mailbox. I can say I live in the country, but development subdivisions are very close by. That's what I want. I want to live in the country, but I still want Joann's, Hobby Lobbies, and Michael's nearby. Because that's kind of what we need, right? And ours are all fairly close. I want to say Joann's is probably the furthest for us. And that's probably maybe a 10-minute drive. But then we have Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and Dollar Tree, 4 Dollar Trees within a 10-minute drive. So it's not that bad. Oh, very cool, Dawn. You got offered a full-time job yesterday. Congratulations. I'm super thrilled for you. It's always a good time of the year when you can get a job in the busy holiday season and that it's not seasonal work. So that it's just part-time, you know, to tide you over till just after the holidays. So congratulations on that. It's great news. I'm thrilled for you. Lynn says our mailbox is on the house. See, I just opened the door and opened my mailbox. The only time we ever had that was in my childhood home. We had one of those mailboxes that my dad had to cut into our garage door. So our mailbox checking was just walk out to the garage and look on the floor and see what was there. And since then, it's been apartment life or a community mailbox, which a lot of our subdivisions now have, just to make the mail carrier's job easier. Oh, very cool. She's going to be working in the criminal traffic division. So congratulations, you're able to take that education that you've worked so hard for and now be able to apply it to a job. I'm sure you're going to totally love that job. Jenny, all that you've missed so far is we're just using a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame, and we're just putting in 20-inch ruffles onto our frame, and this is just a white with a silver thread through it. So that's really all you've missed. And then we're talking about mailboxes, if people have mailboxes. See, this is why mailbox swags don't work here, because we have community mailboxes. So you guys are so lucky. Open the door and there's your mail. Man, all of you people, you're like, open my door, there's my mail. That's like perfect for me. That's like my Hallmark movie thing, where you just have your community mail right there. I wondered if those still existed. Isn't that sad? Amazon is running 2 days behind, and just got them today, so be aware when shipping. You know what you can always do, Dawn, is contact Amazon's customer service and let them know. And sometimes they'll, you know, make some sort of concession for you, because you were looking to have those supplies a little bit earlier than, well, at least you got them today. But you never know. Sometimes they'll give you like a month of Amazon Prime free or something. Did you notice that the Dollar Tree mesh is super see-through? I would expect it to be, but because it's only $1, you can always double up on that. However, this mesh that I'm using, I want to say it costs $3.95 a roll for a 30-foot roll. So this makes it very cost effective. Jeannie, there are 18 ties. So there are 6 on the inner and 12 on the outside. I like even numbers. Plus, it's also divisible by 3. So the ones that I've been doing of lately have all been, you know, I've got to take my math, divide it by 3 to figure out my my ribbons or anything else. So super simple. This is our form. It's all ready, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our bow, because you guys know that we can always add the sign to our wreath, but a lot of times I don't really want, even though it's a very elegant, very super simple sign, I don't want to cover up the pine tree. I don't want to cover up any of the words, so it's probably going to kind of get pushed off to the side and then kind of have our bow here. And then we'll go ahead and embellish and add all of our ribbon pieces to it. This is an 8x8 wood sign. As you can see, it's got the little flip up if you wanted to put it on display. So let's go ahead and make the bow. And we're going to use the bow dabra and the ribbons that we have selected for today's bow making class. I'm just pulling some of these. I have a couple rolls out here that are pretty thin, so I don't know if we'll get an entire piece that we need out of it, so I might have to go into a new roll. But knowing that this is white, I don't want to take white and put white on the bottom. I'd rather take the gray and put that on the bottom, and then elevate it with the white pine trees. The gray with the snowflake came from Craft Outlet. The 2.5 inch with the gray trees on a white and glittered background came from Hobby Lobby. We're also going to be using a silver, it's like a mesh. So this is 1.5 inch, came from Joann's. Then we're also going to do white with snowflake from Michael's. And then we have this swirl pattern white with like an iridescent glitter. This came from Hobby Lobby in their wedding section. And then finally, let me show you what this looks like because it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of got silver edges, but then the middle is kind of like a sheer mesh with like little geometric honeycomb in the middle. So those are going to be the ribbons for our bows. So we're going to start with the 2.5 inch. We need to dovetail that, which just consists of wired edges together. We're gonna take our scissors and go from the fold right to that point. And that gives you a good dovetail on the end of your ribbon. And I'm trying to practice making sure my ribbon scraps go into the trash can instead of on the floor next to the trash can. And I've even tried cutting my ribbon directly over the trash can and my scraps still. It's like literally as I'm cutting it, they just kind of fly out to the side. I'm like, what's the point? Why don't I just cut it over the floor and then just get a dustpan and just clean up the scraps. So we're gonna start with 10 inch tails, 5.5 inch loop. So I'm gonna do this side and we're gonna twist and hope, let's see, just a little bit more. And then we should be right on target. These should go fairly quick. And I'm thinking we'll only need one bow because the sign's a little larger. Most of the time lately I've been doing 1/2 inch signs. So dovetail end right in the trash can where it belongs. Okay. So I saw Gail, thank you for answering the questions that are popping up that you can answer. Yeah, the tutorial for the Christmas tree wreath behind me is in the private group library. So if you're the private group member, you can just go to the private group page and just search for Christmas tree tutorial. And it should be one of two. One I did without, that was before Unique and the Creek had invented the Christmas tree board. So we had to actually make our frames, which thankfully we don't have to do. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a 10 inch tail and then the same thing, 5.5 inch loop, which is super simple now that I already have the base measurements down, because all I have to do is put your hands in your loops and pull, and then everything should be the same. Let's see, move that one out of the way, and here we go. Okay, you guys are, thank you for those of you that are answering the questions that are still continuing about how long is the mesh cut. I appreciate you guys filling those questions for me. That really helps out. And no, you're not intruding on my instructional time. It helps to have that pulled up, so yes. Yep, you guys got it. Signs from Hobby Lobby. I've used the incandescent white in a few wreaths. I was contemplating that, but because the theme on this one was gray, I wanted to have the silver thread through it. Otherwise, it was just too much white. Dawn, I have not done a manger wreath yet. yet. I'm not sure if I will or not yet. It's just a matter of, I know all the things that I kind of want to do and I want to teach. So I'm just trying to make sure I get through a lot of other things. But yeah, God, it just makes me, like, walking through my craft room today, I was like, there's so many projects I seriously just need to get to. So I'm going to do 5-inch loop, 9-inch tail with our 1.5 inches. So I went from 5.5 now down to 5-inch. We're bringing it down. Okay, you're like, here's hoping and praying that I do that. Maybe. One never knows. One just never knows. So here's a question to you guys, because I had to share this great news. So how many of you are Verizon internet subscribers or cable subscribers or Verizon wireless subscribers? So I'll give that a couple seconds to filter through. Kind of looking and making sure. We'll do the snowflake. Snowflake next. I've got a couple more work frame wreaths, but I'm waiting to see what else I want to do with them. I don't know if I want to make any more trees. So we're going to go 8.5. And let's see. I think we're going to keep these 5. So let me just measure the 2. That makes it easier. Where do you find the extra long mesh? Kelly, most of the retail places sell mesh in 30-foot rolls. Dollar Tree's one of the few places, I think along with Michael's, that does not. But most of my mesh I get online through Craft Outlet or the Wreath Shop. It just depends. Oop, I don't want that many. We're going to need half. Okay, so you guys have Spectrum. Wilhelmine has Verizon. Barbara says Verizon for everything. Okay, have you guys heard about the free offer for Disney Plus? It's kind of like Netflix, but it's all Disney. And I mean all Disney. All Disney movies, all Disney TV shows, all the affiliates that Disney has purchased, which means Lucasfilms, all the Star Wars stuff, Guardians of the Galaxy, all the Marvel stuff. What is it? They purchased The Simpsons now. So you can get, if you're a Verizon customer, whether the internet, cable, or wireless, you can get Disney Plus free for a year, which is super nice because I was watching it just before I went live. I was watching a show called Encore, which is where they get people who did musicals in high school to reunite to do the musical again later, now as adults. So that's what I was working on. Oh, good. Linda says, your kids just got it. Yeah, I was thinking anyone who has kids, that would be crazy not to take advantage of that. Where was that when I had kids? Now my kids are the ones that told me that. They're like, Mom, you need to get this. It's free. And now Steve's in love with it because he's a huge Star Wars / Marvel person. So now he can download all his movies, which he was doing before he got on his flight to Chicago. He was downloading some new Star Wars thing called The Mandalorians. So he was trying to get that to upload. Very good. I'm glad you guys got it. Yeah, I was telling my daughter, my brother, I was like, I told you, it's coming. movie theaters, I think, are going to be very short-lived. I think movie theaters will go away shortly because more people want to enjoy time with their families. And I just see, this is my prediction, someone needs to jump on board. The movie companies come out with your, you know, if you want, do your own movie subscriptions. But let cable subscribers, let us pick, like how we can do pay-per-view. Let us pay-per-view a movie ticket instead of going out to the movies and paying overpriced popcorn fees, where we can sit at home and enjoy time together with a family. Granted, I will still miss movie theaters, but I see that's the way the future's going. People want instantaneous gratification. So I think that's the way it has to come. Where's that before I spent $400 on Disney movies? Right? I'm still buying Disney movies, and I'm like, now I don't have to buy any Disney movies. Now, what is it? Lady and the Tramp comes out on tomorrow on Disney Plus. You can watch it now for free. Save all that movie ticket money for a debut. So I wonder if movie theaters will become like drive-thrus, like a vintage thing. Okay, so trying to find a straight pin and had them all out. Here it is. We'll go ahead and put this in. Well, the good thing is now, Kelly, is you won't have to do that anymore. We'll save all that money now. Okay. White pipe cleaner, because we want to keep things icy and frosty. This is the appearance that it feels like to me. Icicles, frosty. Even if you didn't have that kind of a sign, you could still go this route for a winter wreath. I think this is a very elegant winter wreath color. And there's going to be glitter everywhere because the ribbon that I have is full of glitter. So, bow placement. The easiest way to do it is look for the least attractive spot, if there is one, on your wreath. I'm going to go with right here. And I'm going to feed my Deco mesh, or feed the pipe cleaners through my Deco mesh to my frame. And you don't want to pull it all the way to the bottom of the frame, just to where it's starting to float on the tops of your ruffles. Because otherwise it'll fold like an alligator or a taco. So now we'll fluff. So we're going to do, we'll start this way. Usually I start at the top. I don't know why. So we're going to pull bottom tail, and here's my loop. Let's see. And we'll do, since tail's here, tail has to go here, so that our loops are pretty much directly across from one another. But now we're going to separate and bring our loop up and our tail down. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take our tail and bring it up so that our loops are across from one another. If you ever forget, just look at what's on top, and then you want to go in the complete opposite direction. So now we're going back to the gray. So we're just going to follow those. Hold on a second. This is what I needed. So I needed the tail up. You are supposed to stay, hold on. You're supposed to stay up. You were supposed to go opposite, the silver. There we go. I grabbed the white and not the silver. There we go. And then you can start to sort through your ribbons and kind of put them through where you want them to go. Like, obviously we want the white in between, the silver in between that. We're going to follow this with the white So I'm going to pull in opposite directions. We're going up. As soon as I get my finger through the loop. It's just easier if you grab it by the loop and pull. Because that way you're fluffing. And, let's see, well, this way. We're fluffing at the same time. This one's just a little stiff. I'm going to do this. And then finally, I'm going to flip these and go opposite because I want the white. Otherwise it's too white on the top and then all the white is kind of going in that general direction. And then we'll split these. There we go. And now we'll just kind of fluff everybody up and give them all their little arches back. Dumped glitter all back on my cutting board so that anything I cut from here on out, well, after, not like right now, I could literally, like, there's that much glitter on my board. Just don't want my face to itch right now because then I'd have glitter everywhere. Okay, so I'm just moving them around. So there is our super pretty fluffy bow. And I know it seems kind of hard to see just because it's laying on white, and that's why I was like, it's imperative that you add a little darker color to give some contrast. So now when we add our sign, now our sign is really going to, do this. Now our sign's really gonna pop with our pretty bow. So I think I'm gonna kind of do it a little bit like this. What do you guys think? Although I'll probably add glitter to my sign. Kind of go that. How did you ever clean all the glitter, Caitlin? Glitter is just something that's going to exist in our household. And I started thinking, okay, well, at least through Christmas. And then I was like, no, because then there's Valentine's Day, which is red glitter. And then there is, I'm going to put them on the opposite sides. St. Patrick's Day. Then it starts to roll into Easter. Glitter, pretty much. But nowhere near the glitter levels as Christmas time or Halloween. So, Power Shot Black & Decker. You can get it at Amazon. Best staple gun in the whole world for people who have arthritis or just a low strength in their hands for squeezing. Because most staple guns, you're stapling, you're pulling your fingers up towards your palm. Here, you get to apply body weight to the front to staple, which makes it so much easier to do. Just like that. And using 1/4 inch staples, because my sign is at least a 1/4 inch thick, and then I don't have to worry about anything falling off. I don't have to drill holes. That's it, 4 staples, and I have a sturdy base for my sign. Now I'm gonna leave the little flap if they want to go ahead and take it off and utilize it in any other way. They have that option. That's what I will put in the thing, in my listing, is if you don't like the sign. I'm kind of looking at where I want it kind of placed, honestly. Kind of want it framed by some of my bows, but then kind of not. Probably right about there. So I'm gonna make my executive decision, which means go ahead and secure that to the base before you change your mind. You hugged your dog, haven't washed her, still covered in glitter. I know, our poor cats are the same way. I'm like, well, at least they sparkle, so we can kind of see them if they kind of blend into the furniture a little bit more. So, kind of pull that up. I grab these, I filter these down. The sign came from Hobby Lobby, Debbie. I actually found it. What was I doing? I was looking for a candy cane sign. And I found this and I was like, oh, pretty. And then of course, once you get the sign, you're like, oh, I gotta go look at ribbon. I feel bad because every time I go anywhere, I always have to look at ribbon. And I think I have to actually email them back. I have to email Shinoda because I think Shinoda sent me a 20% off all wired ribbon coupon, which is probably like the worst thing for a ribbon addict ever. Aside from saying, I have free ribbon, you want to come look through it, pick it all out? So let me show you what this looks like. Here is our Merry Christmas sign. So far, a $400 vacuum in microfiber. Well, that's lovely, but you do know that you're just going to make more wreaths, right? Okay, I am looking. I see all your guys' comments. So now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add the ribbon to the outside, meaning the outside 12 pipe cleaners we have. We'll come back in later and we're going to embellish a little bit around the sign with, I have these super gorgeous berries that I found from Hobby Lobby, which are like a dark charcoal gray, a silver, and an ivory. I think those will look pretty in here. And then if I need even more glitter, I have the silver fern that we can go ahead and add if we want to pop some additional silver into it. We have silver matte, shiny, and glitter balls. And then this set from Joann's actually is like their ocean set, but this is where you have your white. So we have these. We also have ivory scatters and fillers along with a darker charcoal gray, but I think this is a little too dark if we wanted to add those to the ends of our pipe cleaners. So wide range of options. We'll see which ones we choose to go through. I have cut my 2.5 inch ribbon to 13 inch pieces for our tails, and we're just going to alternate the dark gray with the white with the pine trees because it kind of ties in with the sign. And I missed on an open trash can that's about 1.5 feet in diameter. I missed. It's on the floor. So that's just more stuff we'll have to clean. So I'm hoping this will look gorgeous. You have to sneak yours back into their house like a drug mule so my husband doesn't see what I've done. Well, as long as you clean it up, I don't think they mind. I know Steve doesn't mind. It's just funny when we go out to dinner after I've made something and he probably has wiped the counter and then he'll touch his face and I'm like, he sparkles when we go out. So it's kind of a nice little touch. Sometimes I tell him, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just want him to sparkle. Missed the beginning. So, recap. 14 inch Dollar Tree wreath frame, 10 inch Deco mesh cut to 20 inch pieces and ruffled in all 18 pipe cleaners. We added a bow that came from a wide variety of different sources, but you can catch that on the replay part. And the sign came from Hobby Lobby. And then I think the ribbon tails, these are 13 inches on the 2.5 inch ribbon. The pine tree came from Hobby Lobby and the snowflake came from Craft Outlet. Craft Outlet is my main source. Because you were looking at your audience. No, I think you just get so used to knowing right where your trash can is. It's like you can almost do it second nature. As moms, you know, we can do that thing second nature. We have that gift of being able to reach our kids in the back seat without having to take our eyes off the road. So, I don't know. Even when I'm looking directly over the trash can, is stillness. And someone's like, you just need to get a box. I'm like, well, then I have to break down the box. That's just more work. Need less work. You're welcome, Debbie. Hopefully that was a quick recap. Okay, I think I've caught everybody's question. Craft Out, it is yours too, huh, Tracy? I think it's $69 is an easy minimum to meet. Because if you design 3 wreaths from top to bottom, I think you pretty much hit that $69 minimum, which is a pretty good deal. Because you know you're going to have lots left over. Depends on how you divide them up. Linda, Consumer Crafts. Yes, I have. That's where I get all my pip berries. So all my primitive metal bells, garland, all that stuff comes from, I think it's called Factory. It's Factory Direct. Or Consumer Crafts is where I got my driftwood wreath form for my beach wreath that I did last year. So yeah, there's so many, so many places to get supplies. Thank God. Because last year this time it was crazy. Because I think the online retailers did not expect wreath makers to blow up in the interest that it did. So it caught them off guard. So they came up short on craft supplies last year. And sadly, you know, when you don't have an resource to go to, you're going to have to go to your local retail stores. Well, local retail stores weren't even able to keep up with that demand. So they were out. And then of course this year there's an overabundance, which is nice. Because then it makes it competitive, and then sometimes you can get really good deals or specials. Like free ribbon at 20% off, right? Caitlin, totally writing that down. You know, when I first started wreath making and I was watching wreath makers, that's all I did, is I would watch them. And looks like this one came undone. So let me see what happened to this piece of Deco mesh, and it did. So let me go ahead. It came out from underneath my bow. So when I was twisting my ribbon, I untwisted it. Let's go ahead and tuck this back in. Never had that happen. But that's what I did when I first started. I wrote down everything people were saying. Oh, I got this sign at such and such. Write that down. I actually just kept it on a notepad in my phone, and I just kept adding to the list. And then I would write down, because sometimes Consumer Crafts would be like, okay, what was Consumer Crafts for? Was that signs? Was that Deco mesh? Was it ribbon? So writing down what they carried helps you. So there we go. Now it's happy again. Don't know why that happened. Yes, I do. I just said I was adding my ribbon and I untwisted it the wrong way. You found the staple gun at Amazon, but what size staples? Perfect 1/4 inch staples, because you can't go anything bigger, because 1/4 inch is the minimum that you want to use. So 1/4 inch staples for 1/4 inch wood. And that's for pretty much most of the signs that you'll need it for. Great question though. Yep, you got it right, Barbara. 1/4 inch. Let's see. Perfect. You guys are already addressing all the issues. I really need Christmas music. But if I play Christmas music, then I can't publish my video. Did you guys know that? If you put music in your backgrounds, you can't publish your videos unless you own the licensing right to that song. Which is why some people will play music, but they don't publish their live after that. And if they do, it's just a matter of time before it gets taken down. And now they're starting to really crack down on a lot of stuff. So this should be interesting to see how all that plays out. So now we're going to come in and add in our half bows. So I have 1.5 inches, the white with the snowflake and the silver with the mesh. Obviously white with snowflake is not going to go on the white, it's going to go on the gray. And we're going to do half bows, which is just take your ribbons, bring them together at the bottom so they're nice and neat, and then just kind of walk your fingers up to about that far. It's about 2 inches from the top to where you are holding it with your fingers, not 2 inches total. And see, exactly 2 inches. And then you're going to lay this in directly on top of, for me, my gray ribbon. And I'm going to twist my pipe cleaner 5 times, because that's usually for me the sign of I'm done with that. And I'm actually going to snip these off, because I definitely think the gray balls are going to be a little too dark to use. That made it in the trash can, probably because they're heavier. And then you just kind of open them up. So let me flip this all the way around so you guys can see that. Let me zoom in. Does that help? I'm hoping. And then we're going to do the silver mesh on top of the white. So that should add a lot of sparkle. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to try to do this upside down. You're just going to lay it right on top, and you're going to twist 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to cut your pipe cleaner, trash can, and then you're going to take your pipe cleaner and you're going to bend it behind your ribbon, and then you're going to fan it out. So you'll have to flip one of your tails over and then kind of fluff up your bow. So these are called half bows because they only have 1 loop. A full bow would have 2 loops at least. So we're going to keep doing this until we go all the way around. It's hard to see your tree with your bow. I'll move it once we finish, because I kind of have it kind of pushed up so I can put the ribbon underneath the bow, Barbara. Because once I get the last of the pieces, then I can refluff everything. I promise we'll make it to where we can see it. That's a pet peeve of mine. I have to be able to read it. So we'll just keep, I'm just going all the way around. The half bows are cut to 16-inch pieces. So I just want them a little bit longer, because once you make the loop, I want the tails to kind of come down and kind of sit on top of the 2.5-inch ribbon to kind of complement the colors. Maybe what I need to do is attach ribbon pieces to my pipe cleaners so they make it in the trash. So I got a couple more underneath here that I need to get to, and then we can move the ribbon back. Because I like to make sure that it's consistent all the way around. So just because I put a ribbon in here, it's really super easy for me to go, they're never gonna see it. If I start taking shortcuts like that, it's time for me to quit, because I don't want to take shortcuts. I kind of like surprising my customer and putting things that they may not see until they go to hang it up and they're like, oh my god, look, there's something like under the bow loops. Like sometimes I hang or put little glitter balls underneath. So it's just visual interest, things they can find. And let's see. Need to grab this one. Okay, so you guys got all the dimensions. This one is the one that has all the glitter that just sheds. I mean, it's kind of like my apple tree the other day. My gardener came and swept up all my leaves, and I went out there this morning and the other half of the leaves fell off the tree, and it doesn't even look like the gardener was here. So now I'll go out later and take all those pretty leaves and throw them into the trash, knowing I can't make a basket in the trash can. There'll probably be more leaves on the ground than there will be in the trash can. Okay, we're white. So this is where I was saying that if you have like these little balls that came from Joann, these were $10 and there's 48, but right now I think Joann's has them on sale for 60, if not 70% off. Now that's a good deal. That's like $3. When you do the math, and there's 48 ornaments in there, it's right around, what is it? If it's $3 for the container, 48 bulbs in a box, I don't know, like less than 30 cents a piece. It depends on how many you use. That's a really good craft supply. What is the best place to get floral picks? My grandma wants a wreath, but I can't find the right color blue. It's a blue like those ornaments you have on your counter. Which blue? The frosty blue or more like the marine blue? Those are really hard colors to match, and it's because they're tertiary colors. Those are the colors that are not primary or secondary. They're made by adding more blue or green to those to get that color shade. Where did I find? Joann's had a lot. Oh, Joann's, duh. That's where I bought those. And then for floral picks. Our Joann's doesn't have an awful lot when it comes to floral picks. Hobby Lobby for me is probably my go-to because I want to physically look at my floral picks. Kind of picky like that. I want to touch, I want to feel them. I want to see how, or do they look more lifelike or more fake? That whole thing. The frosty blue. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking the shiny blue, right? Not the matte blue. Because I'm like, either one of those could be frosty. Because the blue looks more icy. Like this blue looks more icy. So I'm thinking darker. Darker or lighter? I'm thinking you're saying the shiny ones. Because when I look at frosty, I'm like, they're still blue. They're both kind of icy. Different terms. So we'll go shiny or matte. I don't know if you can tell by that. The matte ones. Yeah, that one's a really tough color to pick, to match. And you want floral picks, because I'm going to say, you probably want to try to find a wholesaler. It matches her Christmas tree. See, again, you're going, I keep wanting to go with an artificial, like, oh, you can get really cool seashell stuff and things like that, but you're like, no, I'm looking for floral. Have you thought about it, Caitlin, doing a, like more of a, like white and like snow-covered pine and just adding pops of that color? Because it's easier for you to probably find the ribbon and little embellishments that would bring that blue out. And if you lay that against a white wreath, it really makes that color come out. Brenda, you're not late as always. This is just an unexpected video. So, I did post though that I was going to go live later today on my Facebook page and Instagram. And so far so good, ladies. we have had no broadcast interruptions. So I'm quite thrilled that I think I found the solution to my problem. Really happy. It had to be done because I watch everybody else struggle and I'm like, I don't want to be struggling. The one thing that I like is the fact that people like the quality and sound of the video now, that it's taking us this long to figure it out. And last one, let's just kind of break this one up. I think once we cut the pipe cleaners off, it'll lay flatter. And that always helps too, moving the pipe cleaners out of the way. So Brenda, this is just my take on walking in a winter wonderland. So Private Group people, when you see the materials list and it says Winter Wonderland Wreath, this is what it is. I try to include the pictures so that you guys can remember, because sometimes it's just hard after so long to go white and silver Christmas wreath. Thanks, Sandra. We are making it very icy, sparkly. It just reminds me of like when it snows, how quiet it is. Everything is just like a calm blanket of calmness. And then we'll just move our bow around. We'll just move the tails to the other side so that our sign shows better. Right, Barbara? That's why we put our sign there. Although it's covered in glitter now. So, look at how pretty that is. If you guys can see how sparkly it is, let me make this a little bit larger for you guys. That's what it looks like. We definitely need to add something up here. Seeing it's got open area. And for me, that's like, fill it. So let's add some sparklies. Like these picks from Hobby Lobby. Well, number one, I like to pull all my little beads apart so they're not all just stuck to the branches. Let's give them some life. So we're just going to put a little bit of a bend to them. We'll do the same for this one. My watch is telling me breathe. Does it sense that maybe you're not breathing? You're holding your breath? Okay. And we'll do the same up here. We'll give it some movement. Pull those picks apart. And then of course, we need to remove the price tag. So let's go ahead and take that off. I always want to tell Hobby Lobby people, can you guys put them at the bottom? Because sometimes it's a pain trying to get them all off. Let's see, hopefully that did it. There we go. So I'm just going to demo this behind the sign. So my goal will be, I don't really want to cut my pick until I can verify it will do what I want it to do. Okay, so let's look. This might be a little too long, which means we might want to cut it down. I think it's too long. But I do like it if I take just this much. So we'll make it smaller. And I like it to kind of be off to the corners. But Let us try the other one. I like that. I can make that work. Let us see. Can we use the leftovers? Let us look. Let's try to go the opposite direction with this one. Go ahead and bend them first. Yeah, Sandra, I do sell them, but I love making them. I love making them. So I'm kind of thinking, just kind of go with me. I like these kind of off to the side. I like it when if you follow the stem up from the corner, and then this one just kind of off to the side the other way, and then maybe, let's see, we have all but matte in here. Let's pull these out. So I love the reflection that comes off of some of the ornaments and the balls. Okay. I keep trying to grab the same ones. Let us flip this back. And let me spin this around really quick. Don't really want to impact the tree on that one, but let me look. Tight. I like what I've been doing lately is coming up with little trio combos. Like I would take this, and this, and add those together and kind of glue them in like a cluster. Like I'm liking that for right here at the bottom in this cluster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the pipe cleaner that's under my sign. So I just want to give it a couple extra twists and then cut that. Oh God, do I ever make one that I keep for myself? No. Probably because I get to enjoy them until their owners call for them and give them a new home. That's just kind of how I get to enjoy them. Because it's November now, and I'm kind of looking around. My Christmas is getting thin, believe it or not, which is a good thing. It's just pushing me now to make more. And since I don't replicate my designs, it allows me the creativity to kind of to enjoy each creation for the time that I have it. And there's my other bow. So let us kind of do it this way. And what I might do, yep, because right underneath our sign, of course, or right underneath our bow is a pipe cleaner. Exactly, Caitlin. You have them hanging all over your house. Exactly. And we're a non-smoking home, so everything is just up on a guest bedroom wall because it's so sad. They're so pretty. They need to just be enjoyed. So I keep them. in our house all year round. So let me go ahead and make a little cluster. So I just pop all the ends off like so. And we're gonna, let me move this to the side so that you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So our goal is to get all those little piece parts together. So what I do is I start where let me try to get my glue off. I don't know why my glue lately has started to just drip unnecessarily. So what I do is I put the matching ends together so that they're both kind of crisscross, if you will, so that I have them like this, but I'm gluing the silver to this, and then once that sets up a little bit, then I'll add this silver to the bottom, and then we shouldn't see these tips because they're all under one another. So let's go ahead and add some glue right here, because this is where this is going to join up, the trio. So these were my little trio bundles. So I just find good colors that go good together and make these little bundles. And then you can take the bundles and just put them wherever you need a little pop of a trio of colors. Just like so. So if we wanted to, we can take that and add that there. And then I'm definitely going to add it up in this area too. And then one just underneath the bow. So I'll probably make 3 of them and just add those into various places. Oh, Caitlin, how's that possible? My consumer craft shopping cart's now up to $70. It's easy to do. Well, I'll post pictures later, Wilhelmine. So go enjoy your study. So see how I just take them and I crisscross them. So we're gonna add glue right here on the top. And then we're gonna crisscross and let those dry. How do you think this design will look with dark blue, white, and aqua instead of the gray? Patty, come watch on Friday. I think that was the design that everyone chose. I called it Blue Christmas, which is gonna be a really super, super dark navy blue, white and silver. And so I already picked out all the ornaments. I already picked out all the florals for it. So I'm super excited because yes, aside from this one, that one has been on my, it's been on my mind to make for quite some time. Okay. So, grab the wrong one. So let's go ahead and let those dry. Yeah, so I think everyone, I did a poll and I put it out there Monday or Tuesday and I said we could either do candy cane or Blue Christmas, and everyone picked, I think pretty much, it's not a landslide, but definitely a majority picked Blue Christmas. So wait till you see the florals. Oh my, they look like they have fiber optic lights in them, which I can't wait to see. And then of course, all of our sign manufacturers keep coming up with these amazing signs. And it's like, wow, I wish you guys would just put that all out at the beginning of the year so that it helps us to plan for those. So let's look at one up here. And then we're going to add one down below. And then we'll add one. I might put one here just because we can see it. And then I'll put one underneath where the customer can see it. It's not so much us. But yeah, I definitely think those colors are gonna look amazing. They're definitely not traditional Christmas colors, but I think it works. And lately, the non-traditional Christmas color stuff has just been flying out of my shop. The rose gold stuff all sold. The purple, what was it, purple and gold, that flew. That went quick. And so now we're gonna make this one. I'm gonna try to do these really close together. The whole goal is to put equal tension on all of them, which I can do once I get all three. So this will be another cluster. But these are just different options you have, and if you think about it, each one of these little clusters that I'm making is like under $1 to add to the wreath as far as materials costs go, if you get your ornaments on sale. So even, I think if they're 60% off, it's still $4. So then it's about 48 cents-ish, roughly. Yeah, Caitlin, the rose gold did sell almost immediately. I think they were waiting for me to list it, and then it was gone, which is crazy. Wreath bases, cheaper than using greener bundles, and less time they make bundles of different greenie. Oh, okay. So you're buying wreath bases. Okay. I agree. It definitely is easier making them. Okay. So this one's actually going to go in underneath there, and then we'll make the last one for right here in the corner. And then we'll glue in our stems. What's funny is looking at how many other people are making something similar, which is just great. It's a good design. And so many people like rose gold. So as you see, I'm just trying really hard to keep tension on that while I fill up that void so then I can hold all three. I'm trying to think, do I need to add some little silver wisps? That's where I'm stuck right now, because my mind's already thinking too, okay, what's next? So I like what we've done so far. I don't want to go overboard. What do you guys think? And then this one will go kind of right in here. So let me show you, while they're kind of still setting up, what it looks like. Let me lift this up. Bear with me, they're not glued on, they're just sitting there. So I'm trying to show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's that. And then what I was thinking of, I'll just cut one of these off. That always helps. Is we can add these little wisps of gold, but I'm thinking maybe, or silver, maybe it needs to be, let me look. Sometimes it doesn't even need to be there because you can't even see it. So let me cut into these really quick. These also came from Hobby Lobby. They're $3 each, so $1.50 each. But we can almost do something like this. So it kind of looks like pine branches, and I kind of like the way that looks. I just need to make sure this one stays there. And then we'll add, we'd have to add these first. So they would just have these little, let's see, this one's gonna go more here. So let me look. I like that. Just that last little touch. It makes it seem like I just didn't put ornaments there just for no reason. But that they have a plan and a purpose. Okay, do I want this to come down? Okay. Now that I do that, I'm like, do I want to add these? Let me pull these out. Okay, so now look. You guys tell me what works better. Okay, doing it like this with these little balls with silver leaves, or do we go back in and add the picks in here? So let me get this one. It's getting hung up on the Deco mesh. Do we add this as well? And then add this. Trying to get it to go under the Deco mesh piece that's there. So let me move the bow. Or do we do it? Do we do it like this? It will look like silver and white holly, right? See, Sandy? Okay, so ball picks in or ball picks out? You guys tell me. I think the picks are too much. I think so too, Caitlin. Teresa says the same thing without the picks. No picks. Wow, that makes that super simple. See why lives are so much more beneficial? Okay, now we'll go ahead and actually glue those in. And I do like that theory, Caitlin, or Sandy, that they look like holly. And that's exactly the thing that I wanted. So we will glue our silver sprigs down first. And then we'll go ahead and add our holly, if it is true holly. And we're just letting that kind of soak into the Deco mesh because it's kind of like a net. Once it dries, it's really gonna bond to that surface really amazing. And then we're just going to take the bottom and we're just gonna put dabs of glue where it's gonna hit. And I use Gorilla Glue, and the reason for that is I've never had things come loose with Gorilla Glue before. I've used like the Surebonder glue sticks, and even though I use a ton of it, I've had stuff come loose. And that's the last thing I want to have happen. So I gotta just make sure it doesn't impact the Merry Christmas sign. So we need to make sure when we're gluing it to keep the little balls away from the edge of the sign. So we're gonna go ahead and add this. And we'll add the other one. Just like so. Just like this so it can follow. And we want to make sure that we're gluing it just like that. So here, just on the base of those balls. Just like so. I'm going I have a silver thread, so I want to trim that back. Pull all the glue back, the little threads. Can't have that on there. And then we'll go ahead and we'll add the final ones to the top. Go ahead and grab this pipe cleaner. Always beneficial to move them out of the way before gluing anything. Poor Caitlin, you're as bad as me. I know what that feeling is like, that yes, participating in a live allows you the opportunity to talk to other people. With Steve gone, I just have 4 cats. And most of the time during the day, they're like out. They're someplace else. They are taking their cat nap. And I mean, how much conversation can you have with a cat? So yeah, I live for opportunities to converse with everybody else. So we'll do the same thing, making sure we put a lot of glue on that. And then we're just going to center that. And the nice thing is that the silver balls have all kind of become the centerpiece for our holly, if you will. And let me just grab this one underneath. So let's cut some holly for it. So this is why I like these ferns, is you can really break them apart in a wide variety of different ways. So I'm going to glue right next to our sign on the Deco mesh, because that's going to be seen. And we'll add another piece. Right in here. And I'm going to kind of move this ribbon up for a second for that to set up. There we go. And then we'll add our balls. And we'll do the same thing. We want to center it. Awesome. Ladies, I am loving the way this turned out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move my ribbons around, kind of pull my tails away. And I think what I might do, let's see, last thing, I always say that, last thing. Okay, there's that. Move this way. Oh, I need to go the other way. Trying to get to the silver. I think I might just add a silver one to the center of our bow to kind of tie those in to our bow, and we're done. Of course, now this doesn't want to come off. There we go. Kaylin, this would be the one that you'd keep for yourself. I always say that with every single one I make. I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep this one. I see in the back. Donna, that is like such, it's been the question of this live. This wreath is actually in our private group. So yes, there is a tutorial for it in our private group. And you can search for it by Christmas Tree Wreath, I think. So that's available for sale too on the Etsy shop. So let me go ahead and take this one off. So see, this one's just all done with the shades of blue, and it's all done on the Unique in the Creek board. So the board surface is nice because there's nothing to cover up on the back. And this one me go ahead and fan out my ribbons right here. Grab these ones around our bow and get rid of the glue thread and fluff these up that got all smashed when we were working with the picks. There we go. Here, in there. Okay. Let us see. Okay. I'm just okay. Just making sure I zoomed out so you guys. And look, see, we even made the sign more festive by adding glitter to it. There we go. And thankfully, it all turned out as planned. Okay, I think it's on straight. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a winner? Do you think we did okay? I know, I tried to zoom in. So I think that's about as close as I can get without moving my camera up. So yeah, so this is my interpretation, I guess, of walking in a winter wonderland. The things that you would see: frosty, snowy, icy, with a really simple sign that doesn't have to be kind of over the top. And then all the elements from the ribbon with the snow-covered trees just kind of ties that whole theme in perfectly. So awesome, I'm glad you guys like it. So tomorrow night at 5 o'clock is the Royal Blue. I call it Blue Christmas because that's basically what it's going to be, is just a lot of different shades of dark, deep, royal navy kind of blues with silver and white added to it. So we'll see how that comes out. So look for the sneak peek. It comes out around between 12 and 1. So I usually do my sneak peeks there. So you'll kind of see an idea of what we're doing. Let's see what else. That's pretty much it. So if you're interested in joining our private group, it's $17 a month. You can go to my website, which is Kat's Creations, the letter N, and the word more.com, and go all the way to the bottom. So scroll past all the wreaths, and it'll say Kat's Creations private group. There's 2 links, one to sign up for the payment and one to request to join the private Facebook group. You need to do both. And then once that's there, you have access to the library. And I lost count on how many different tutorials we've done. Before we started in September, there were 70 private tutorials, like the angel tree topper and the yarn Christmas wreath, which we brought back out for the public group, the Christmas tree, and just a ton of other stuff. And since September, we've done 8 tutorials, maybe a little bit more each month. So 8 in September, 8 in October. We'll have 8 in November, and then there'll be, there will probably still be 4 to 6 in December. We kind of slow down the last 2 weeks of December. We kind of take a breather before we start gearing up for 2020. So that's kind of like our, let's push till December 15th, because by December 15th, with 8 days on the calendar to ship, December 15th or 16th is going to be the cutoff date to get wreaths guaranteed to your customer in time for Christmas. I mean, if they're Christmas gifts, then it's okay, but you want to make sure you let your customers know what is the cutoff point in which to purchase a wreath for Christmas. So, and if you're interested in this, it'll be on my Etsy shop in about 15 minutes. when I take pictures and get everything listed. So if you're interested, that's where it will be. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow at 5. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys had fun. Bye-bye.